Hello, Facebook friends. This is Chicky Farella from MrWonderful.us, and I want to wish everybody, first and foremost, Happy Mother's Day. I hope you guys are having a great time with your moms. Um, this is my second blog, and I'm going to take it on the lighter side this time. Got a little feedback from my first one that uh, some people thought that my dark side was a little bit too dark. And I'm sorry about that, but the truth be told is that truth trauma is truth trauma. And everybody has their own journey or process to get out of that dark, to get into the light, or get out of the underworld and get into the upper world. So, yeah, I had a strange journey, but it's a good thing because I found Mr. Wonderful. So, like I said, I'm going to do it a little bit on the lighter side today, and I'm going to show off the packaging for my condoms. And again, this is just packaging. I'm looking for a partner to help me sell this to a company, sell, license, etc., and to distribute, to produce and distribute. So, about the condoms. And if I do have my way, I definitely would love to have them hanging on a rack that looks just like this. So I'm going to first tell you a little story how I had made decision to register the condoms, register my brand in the class of condoms. I had already registered in the class of clothes. And one day I was at a little watering hole in my neighborhood, and I was sitting there having a glass of wine, and a gentleman came in and sat down right next to me, and we started talking, and it turns out that he was waiting for a bunch of his buddies to come in from LA. They were going to have some sort of a bachelor party. So we started chatting, and he told me he was a sign maker. And I started telling him about my Mr. Wonderful project. I went through the whole harangue. And when I was done, and mind you, I did not have my cards at the time. This is my card. I didn't even have them with me. So when I was finished, he said, okay, let me visualize this. You have a red spread-legged M on top of a red spread-legged W, right? Right. And he said, well, you should register it in condoms. It's a vagina, isn't it? And yes, it is a vagina. I like to use it as a kiss and or vagina. But I was floored because it never crossed my mind to register in condoms. So I went right home and got in touch with my trademark attorney and asked him if that's open. And I gave him a few minutes, and he said, oh, Chicky, it's not just condoms, it's all sexual health items, including. And I said, okay, well, let's do it. And then thinking about that even further, if you remember my first vlog, I explained that my video, the boy-girl thing, was just a metaphor for the larger picture, for trying to get our original, peaceful, matriarchal system in line with the current patriarchal caste so we could have some balance. So this would be perfect because this is about protection. Protection between two people. The bigger picture is protection of the earth, wind, fire, water, all of the elements. So here we have another metaphor, and it just came to me with such a synchronicity. Then the next thing I want to talk about is I decided after I had these made, I took a poll with the younger generation, and I first asked the younger male generation, and I had rave reviews. All of them just said, awesome. They were really surprised. And it didn't have anything to do with Kevin O'Leary. And by the way, Kevin O'Leary, I love you to death, but I wrote this song in 1994, so. But you're still a darling. I love you and watch you all the way, every week. So one incident with one of the fellas was very profound, although everybody liked it. This gentleman that I know, he was in a hurry when I showed it to him. And he was completely surprised, and he grabbed it from me, and he says, "Oh my God, chick, this is awesome. This is awesome." And then he grabbed me by my shoulders, and he pulled me right up, nose to nose, and he says, "You are a goddess, Chickie. You are an absolute goddess. I love you, I love you, I love you." And he kissed me all over his face, all over my face. So I'm saying, so, like, what's the big deal? I wasn't expecting that. And he says, "I got to run." So I thought that was pretty interesting. Next, and I'll explain that in a little bit, but now I want to talk to you about the girls. Oh, God, the girls reminded me of a time back in the day, how none of us in our generation, I could speak for most of the Chickalinas in my generation, that we didn't carry condoms. It was mostly the guy's job. So when I asked these younger generation females who have to carry them, it's a must, they were like surprised. And they said, "Oh, we would take this. If we saw this on the shelf, we would buy it." And I said, "Well, why?" And they'd say, "It makes that long walk to the register a lot shorter." It was like a relief. And then I remembered, maybe about 10 years ago, I first bought my condoms. And it was horrible. It was just, I was sick to my stomach. And especially because I knew the drugstore that I go to, and they all know me, and I'm the big jokester all the time. And that was a long walk. And then I had to do the banter, everybody's raising their eyebrows. What are you doing, chick? I wasn't so funny anymore. So what this is, the big picture for the girls, this is a relief. You can go up to the counter and they see the condoms, and now you can talk about it. You could laugh about it. "Oh, what are you doing tonight? You're going to have some," "Yeah, I'm looking for my Mr. Wonderful." It becomes a conversation piece. It becomes a conversation piece. So, in a sense of relief. And the most important thing, it takes away the shame. I mean, I was schooled with shame. And you heard my first dissertation. And we get sick and tired of the shame. And it's okay now. It's okay for girls to have condoms. We don't have to be ashamed about it anymore. So what was the next story? Oh, so I go to the elderly generation. Oh, I should say young elderly in my age bracket. And I told them about both the girls and the boys. But I really wanted to know what it was with the boys that they just thought it was so awesome. The girls had a sense of relief, but the boys were like, "Oh, yeah," and especially that one friend. So my young elderly friend said, "Here's how it goes, chick. The horny little toad is sitting in a bar, and a pretty young girl sits down next to him. And she orders a drink, and he has a drink, and he orders another one maybe for her. And they start chit-chatting, and they're getting along. They're making a connection. They're having a good time. Until she begins to gather herself, and she's getting ready to leave. And he says, "Where are you going?" And she says, "Well, I have to go to work tomorrow. I've got to get up early." And he says, "Well, but we're having such a good time. We're having a wonderful time." "Yeah, I know we are. And you're a nice guy. We are having a good time. Maybe I'll see you again." "No, you can't leave now. How about if I go with you? Can I go with you? Can I walk you to the door?" "No, I don't think so." "But I'm Mr. Wonderful." And he pulls this out. Now, depending on who you are, and most would say they might be a little offended by it, but for me and others, if a guy showed me these, had the balls to take this out of his pocket at a bar and show these to me, I would be falling off the chair. Get a box of Depends. So here's the deal. My young elderly friend said, no, he didn't get laid that night, but they made a connection. They made a connection, and they will probably see each other again. You know why? Now, he didn't tell me this part. I told him this. I said, you know why? Besides the fact that this is a conversation piece. You know what we want from you guys? We want you to make us laugh. That is your first step. Make us laugh. And the rest may follow. So, here's the big picture. In both genders, we have a conversation piece. Packaging is a conversation piece for sure. And it opens a line of communication. It takes away the shame. It's fun. And this is what we need. We need more fun with each other in our lives. We know we need trust and confidence who we're with. And once again, the bigger picture is not only protection for each other, but protection for all the elements. That said, once again, anybody that is interested in working with me on this, you can get me at mrwonderful.us, info@mrwonderful.us, or chicarella@aol.com. Thank you. And happy Mother's Day.